Welcome to this lecture. Today we're talking about petroglyphs, and we're going to talk about petroglyphs and their meaning. Now, that's a big wide open subject, but today we're going to concentrate on the idea that there's a reason for where they're at. Now, some petroglyph sites are obvious because they're at a water source, and we can associate them with the water source. This site, we have a cliff that goes for miles this way and then goes for several miles in this direction as well. And right here there's a game trail and a small tanaha or water pocket, which is just basically a puddle that lasts maybe for a week or two, and an access point where the animals such as your bighorn sheep and deer and such can come down off this lava flow. So it's a choke point, or what I like to call a focus point in the environment, and the glyphs are associated with that focus point. Now, one of the uses that I think that they may have had is if you were camping down in the valley some 5 miles from here, the glyph site would have been an easy way and a very precise way to talk about a precise location in the desert, because there's a vast amount of desert out here. But an older Indian could have talked about and said, hey, you guys, follow this lava flow, which is a very visible feature. You'll come to this glyph site, and here's some of the strategies that have been used in the past to hunt it, using the wind and rain and the time of year and all the other things that they would have taken into account. But it would have gave them the ability to talk to a very precise location. And I think that's what this glyph site is about. Now, having said that, the actual glyph might be a prayer or something to the spirit of the great spirit of the bighorn sheep, or somebody bragging that they got a big ram. Whenever you see a glyph site, that you're probably at some sort of focus point in the environment. Okay, now let's go take a look at these petroglyphs and see what mysteries and secrets they have. Now, earlier I talked about this cliff blocking the flow of animals across the major habitat, except for these two access points, one a game trail and another one just kind of a steep hill, and also a minor water source. So, of course, this is going to stop the flow of your larger animals, your bighorn sheep, your antelope, deer, and so forth. And if we look at this panel, what we'll see is we got actually 6 bighorn sheep at this site. Now, that's significant when you start to realize that there's a game trail here, or that's one of the major things in this particular vicinity is the game trail. And of course, bighorn sheep use and maintain and make game trails. So that's an association between the game trail and the glyph site. Now, another thing that we have here is we have several that might be birds. This one and this one, and most particularly this one here. A lot of people see that as a turkey vulture or a condor, and that's also a clue as to the reason for this glyph site. The turkey vulture will go along a site like this, of course, looking for some dead animal that either a hunter or in some cases a mountain lion or a bobcat would be hunting these sheep and still focusing in on this focus point and leaving the dead bodies and whatnot that they didn't use. And of course the turkey vulture would come here. And another thing that's really advantageous for the turkey vulture is the cliff itself. The cliff gives the turkey vulture some place to launch and try to get back into the air, because a turkey vulture is a glider, and so he often likes to have a place where he can land and look at something that's dead, make sure it's safe, and then glide to it, or make a small glide and get up here on the cliff face and wait for the wind to come along and then he takes off. It's significant that we have this one glyph here that may be a turkey vulture. It's a clue to the reason for this site, and of course we're calling it a focus point in the environment. A lot of this is theory and conjecture. It does come together, and after a while when you've walked the desert, you start to see these as more than just coincidences. But it's always fun to speculate and learn new things about these petroglyphs. And I believe that these glyphs have a lot to teach a person, even to this day, about the environment. You just got to kind of listen. And with that, we're going to move on over here to the game trail.